Hi, this is Lucy Bryan Malenke from the James Madison University Writing Center, and this is the second video in our group writing series. In it, you'll learn about different approaches to writing as part of a group or a team. If you've written as part of a group before, you probably have some ideas about how to approach collaborative writing tasks. But it's important to know that there are many ways to write as a group. In fact, all writing is collaborative to some extent. Even when you write on your own, you are drawing upon ideas and skills that you have learned from others, and perhaps integrating material from outside sources. But what I want to emphasize is that there is a spectrum, as is demonstrated by this diagram from the Writing Center at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. On one end of the spectrum is doing all parts of the writing process together. So, if you are a partner in a small business, you and your colleagues might work together in this way to create mission, vision, and value statements for your business. On the other end of the spectrum, there's one writer, and that writer will respond to others' comments at various stages in the writing process. If you've ever done an in-class peer review or had a consultation at the University Writing Center, you've collaborated in this way. But most group writing in the academic and professional realms falls in the middle of this spectrum. Some parts of the process, such as planning and editing, are done together, and some parts are divided and done separately. Joanna Wolf, in her book Team Writing, A Guide to Working in Groups, offers another, perhaps simpler way to think about your options for a group writing project. She gives 3 methods for collaboration. There's the face-to-face collaboration method, in which all group members sit down and work together. There's the divided collaboration method, in which the group divides the project into as many sections as there are group members, and everyone puts the pieces together at the end. And then there's the layered method, in which each member takes turns contributing to the project, making revisions to what previous members have written and adding new material. Let's spend a few minutes thinking about the pros and cons of each approach. Wolf points out the following advantages to the face-to-face method. First, it allows teams to share and debate ideas quickly. It's also effective for drafting plans, outlines, and task schedules. And it makes discussing graphic design decisions easy. But there are also drawbacks to working face-to-face. Wolf acknowledges that working face-to-face can be time-consuming and difficult to schedule. Moreover, equality can be a problem because the person behind the keyboard usually has the most control. This method makes it easy for the loudest or most insistent person to dominate. And this approach can be inefficient for drafting longer texts. If only one person is typing and everyone else is watching, that wastes time and can open the door to unnecessary conflict. Let's now consider the divided method, which involves breaking up the project into as many pieces as there are group members. According to Wolf, the main advantage of this approach is its efficiency. Compared to other methods, it allows the writing project to be completed in the least amount of time. However, there are some notable disadvantages to this approach. For one, it limits opportunities to collaborate, which means that team members don't get to learn from each other. It also can be hard to recover if one person fails to do his or her share, or does a bad job. With this approach, it's likely that the final product will contain duplications, gaps, and inconsistencies. And it can produce what some teachers call Frankenstein papers. That is, a paper with inconsistent style, tone, terminology, and writing quality. The final collaboration method that Wolf writes about is the layered method, which allows team members to take turns contributing to, revising, and editing a piece of writing. The first benefit of this method, Wolf says, is that it helps ensure a high-quality project because everyone has multiple opportunities to contribute, critique, and improve upon the project. With this approach, everyone feels ownership of the full document. Additionally, the layered method is most like the collaborative writing that occurs in the workplace, so it's good practice for students preparing for their careers. That said, this approach requires really careful planning on the front end to ensure that the project gets done on time. Also, different roles may require unequal effort. So if everyone's expected to contribute equally, additional planning may be necessary. As we've discussed, each approach to group writing has advantages and disadvantages. The point of this video isn't to persuade you that one is better than the other, but to help you think strategically about when to use each approach. In team writing, Wolf advocates that certain methods of collaboration are better suited for different phases in the writing process. When it comes to planning deadlines, meetings, and logistics, it makes sense for everyone to be present so decisions can be made quickly. The same is true for brainstorming and outlining a writing project. Working face-to-face allows for group members to quickly share ideas and move forward. If your project requires research, all three approaches could work depending on the kind and scope of research that you have to do. Drafting text is best done separately, via a layered or divided approach. Revision, which focuses on big picture changes like reorganizing a text, introducing new evidence, or integrating redundant paragraphs, is best accomplished through the layered approach, which allows teammates to make suggestions and original authors to implement those suggestions. Editing, which focuses on surface-level issues like grammar, citations, and word choice, is also best accomplished through the layered approach. That said, I definitely recommend that the whole group meets face-to-face for final out-loud proofreading of the project, which will ensure that everyone feels good signing off on it. And if your assignment has other components, such as a presentation or visual materials, it also makes sense to work on those together, face-to-face. I hope that this video has given you some fresh ideas about how to approach your group writing project. Of course, using these collaboration methods effectively does take planning and preparation, which is what the next two videos in this series are about. Stay tuned to learn about the process of creating a group charter.